Just a few days to go now, Priti Patel. Do you think you're losing the momentum of this campaign?
On the contrary, we've been very positive, we've articulated a very clear and positive case as to why we should leave the European Union and why we should vote to leave this Thursday. And throughout this campaign, we've been making the case that this is about choice, this is about democracy. This campaign is about giving back control to the British people. We, throughout this campaign, have been taking politics directly across the country to the public and letting the public, yes, hear the case, but letting them know as well, importantly, that too many decisions that affect them are made in Brussels by the institutions of the European Union and basically by people that are not elected by the British public.
You say you're making the positive case, but Baroness Warsi today, a self-confessed Eurosceptic, has said she's walking away from the Leave campaign because you're xenophobic and you are inspiring hatred and telling lies.
Well, I would say that's not right. She's one voice, she's entitled to her view. And let's not forget as well, people are changing their views. We're hearing a range of voices during this referendum campaign. I think when it comes to this debate, our focus has been on decision making, it has been on democracy, it has been on ensuring that we can focus the debate on taking back control of the decisions that affect the British public. The tone is one of balance, the tone is one that is actually right and proper. We're having the debate. The public expect their politicians to stand up for them, articulate their views, their concerns, and that's exactly what we have been doing during this referendum campaign, making it clear that there is an opportunity, yes, to take back control of decision making from the European Union when we vote to leave on Thursday, and of course make sure that our politicians, the politicians that are elected by the British public, are accountable to the British people when it comes to making policies and making decisions that affect them and our country.
You say that this is about taking back control, but a central plank of your campaign has been about immigration. Who would you not let in the UK?
Well, let's be clear when it comes to immigration. Currently, our membership of the European Union means that we are not in control of our immigration policy. And of course, rightly, the British public want accountability, they want to see fairness and balance, and of course, that is the right approach forward when it comes to immigration. Well, we have said when it comes to immigration, we welcome immigration, we welcome the brightest and the best, naturally, of course. That's good for our country, that's good for our economy. That has always been the case. There is no shying away from that. We are proud as a nation in terms of our approach to immigration. But we've heard politicians from a range of political parties in this campaign. We've heard people from across the country, we've had people from business as well say that our membership of the European Union means that we are not in control of our immigration policy. And so immigration is one factor of this referendum campaign in terms of bringing back decision making to politicians in Westminster who are elected by the British public.
When you see posters like the Breaking Point poster that UKIP unveiled, when you hear people talk about sowing the seeds of division that may last well beyond this debate, do you feel uncomfortable about
Well, I think it's wrong. That is wrong, and that is not reflective of British values, and it's certainly not reflective of our campaign either. We have been very clear throughout this campaign that we want fair immigration, and we as a nation are proud of our approach to immigration as well, and we want to build on that, continue to have the brightest and the best from around the world contributing to our great nation in the way that many people already do.
But who would you not let in? I come back to this point, you've not been clear. You say you want the brightest and the best, so who would you say isn't allowed to come to the UK?
Well, I'm being clear with you now. I'm saying that obviously through controlled immigration, and this is about having a government that is in control of its immigration policy, not having factors put on them by the European Union, which is clearly what we have right now through free movement. The public wants accountability. They want their politicians to be clear with them when it comes to decision making and control over decisions and policy. And immigration is just one aspect of policy that we've been speaking about during this referendum campaign.
It is a personal one for you because you have talked about the fact you are the daughter of immigrants. Do you struggle now with what is being perceived by some as a divisive rhetoric when you are the daughter of immigrants yourself?
Well, I would step away from anyone suggesting that, or any aspect of divisiveness when it comes to discussing immigration. Immigration is something that this country is incredibly proud of, and that is down to the policies of successive governments. At the same time, though, the British public during this referendum campaign have been clear. I've travelled the country. I've been campaigning for not just weeks but months during this referendum campaign. I go back not just to this referendum campaign but even to the general election last year, where the public voiced their concerns and anxieties around not being in control of our immigration policy, about the impact of immigration on our public services. And it is right that politicians of the day find the right ways in which to address these challenges. And they are challenges, let's be very clear. It is of course for the government of the day to set the policies, but at the same time, until we are in control of our immigration policy, until we address the whole issue of free movement, we are not fully in control. And I think that is one aspect during this referendum that has been part of that debate and part of the campaign.
A couple of days to go now, and this seems to be coming about Britain's place in the world, how the UK sees itself, how people feel, their sense of national identity. You've come here. Are you just harking back to days of old?
On the contrary, we are very clear that, when we vote to leave on Thursday, we can do more when it comes to Britain's standing in the world. If you look at what, our country has fought for when it comes to freedom, democracy, British values, we will continue to do that. We will continue to champion that. And also, as we've said throughout this campaign as well, Britain has a great place in the world, but also Britain's standing when it comes to economic dialogue, economic bilaterals could be even stronger when we choose to engage with the 2.2 billion people in the Commonwealth countries, when we choose to trade more freely and more openly. This is very much about the freedom to succeed when it comes to our economic future and our political future outside of the European Union. And I think that we should be very positive about a future outside of Europe and look to embrace that in a positive and engaging way.
But when people say to you, we want our country back, does that not worry you that we will become an inward-looking nation rather than one that's a big player on the global stage? How does that make you feel? We want our country back.
On the contrary, because Britain has a great standing in the world and we could be even stronger, more successful, more prosperous outside of the European Union. And I think the point that you're making, and I've heard it not just today but when I've been campaigning across the country, is that the British public want to see decision-making brought back to our Parliament. They want to see their politicians, the people that they elect, represent them, make decisions on their behalf and be accountable to them in a way in which, and we've heard it this morning, I've heard it throughout this campaign, in a way in which the public no longer feel that is happening. They want to put an end to remote decision making, decisions being made by the unelected in institutions in Brussels, in Strasbourg, in a way in which that simply don't represent our country and the British public when they vote for their Member of Parliament.
So, thanks very much.